theme of this year's Holocaust Memorial Day is ordinary people. We'd like to tell you about the extraordinary life of one ordinary person who survived the Holocaust.
This is Masha. She grew up in Łódź with her 11 siblings. She was born into a loving Jewish family. After the Nazi invasion of Poland, Masha's family and thousands of others were interned into the Łódź ghetto. This is one of the only pictures we have of her in the ghetto. Life in the ghetto was miserable. Food was very scarce and imports were controlled by Nazi administration. When her sister was taken whilst queuing for food by the SS, Masha's nephews were left orphaned. Later on in the war, despite Masha's attempts to save them, her nephews and all the other children in this photo were deported to Chelmo and murdered. The ghetto was dissolved by the Nazis in an effort to leave no trace of their crimes. Residents were forced out of their homes, headed to an unknown place, and Masha and many others from the ghetto were deported to Auschwitz in the summer of 1944.
As they arrived at Auschwitz, Masha described it as hell on earth, while people were separated into two groups, able-bodied and those unfit to work, who'd be sent to gas chambers.
Masha and millions of other workers were branded with a number and stripped of their identity. Masha recalled the degradation of her fellow prisoners, fighting over a bowl of soup.
After the inhumane treatment in Auschwitz, Masha described the treatment in the factory as heaven on earth, despite the fact that she was still only receiving one meal a day and participating in slave labour.
Masha was transported to the Ravensbrück concentration camp in February 1945, where she was met with hard labour, starvation and brutal mistreatment from the guards.
In April 1945, the Swedish Red Cross negotiated a release deal with Himmler, leading to Masha's liberation. She was able to see a real doctor, and prisoners were treated as humans again.
At every opportunity, Masha shared her story to ensure that the stories of victims and their families are not forgotten.
My mother's dearest wish was for the future generation should learn from the awful experiences that she suffered in those dark times, and never forget that education, tolerance and love are the foundations that we can fight racism and intolerance.